That's how it started. That's it. You would just slap some yellow armor on a man and your Moss Mans would be cool. Fast forward 8 years later, what did Mattel just put out that's a Walmart exclusive? Moss Man with the yellow accessories. I'll bet you 100 people have reached out. Did you see the new Moss Man, man? They took your idea. Remember these guys? Kadash. That's how it all started. It's the only reason Eternia Dreams is here today, is these. You know those big metal axes I hang on like the peg hooks at the shows? They used to be in the front. But we had kids smacking them all the time. And we were too scared they were gonna fall off, so we took them off. One of my first Google reviews, I kid you not, my first Google reviews in the mall was I'm not a real toy store because we didn't have the plastic army men. I was like, no, because no one buys these. I'm a collectible store first, but no, man. This lady wrote a huge review because I didn't have the green army men. Now I have like, I made sure I have every color. Like, here you go. Lady, if you ever watch my YouTube channel, I got your army men. Could not believe that was my complaint. This is more complete than that one, but everything this way is good. We just gotta knock out the castles, which again, I've never even opened one of these, so I don't, this would be a learning curve.
It's been a while though.
This is like a bag of things I think that aren't masters. I know like that's Spawn and like that's classics, that's New Adventures. So you're probably gonna, yeah, see that's some of the weapons right there, they're in there. This is all 2000X weapons. And then, so we'll just work with the best castle first and just work our way down.
These here,
Yep.
I'm at 300. When I was looking it up, because this one's better condition, they were the prices. They average out to 160.
Okay.
Do you want me to
Bump
go
them
that
down
way?
then, yeah.
Then you got another one. He's 375, but his bow is red instead of that brown.
Yeah, it's just the two versions. We'd get lucky if his buckle was black.
Yeah,
That'd be crazy. When I was doing Leech, I had probably like 17 different Leech figures. I was past that window, so I was never like a kid and got a new He-Man vintage on card. That didn't happen. But the passion behind it was getting them used and hand me down. And then when we found these, I was like, okay, that'll be like my vintage card for me because I didn't get to open any. And the next thing you know, there's like 500 of them, it feels like. I mean, let's do some variants, man. Let's make it fun. You've got Triclops where he's like legit and normal. And then, I know I got a variant, and boom. And then you would get the Triclops regular and you get the Triclops like with the black, right? So that's just the color variant. Nothing changed, figure's the same. And I just thought that was the most fun thing in the world to go out and find. And then I started to realize like, one, it costs a lot of money. So I would like go buy them all, keep the couple I needed, and then sell the rest. And then I found out like on Facebook, you could do the live sales and like throw a little bit of personality, talk about the stories, and that's when it unfolded. And then the next thing I know, it went from like buying, what's up, buddy? Went from buying the He-Man collection to, nope, now I'm getting some Star Wars. Now I'm getting some Joes in that collection. And then we opened up, I decided I'm gonna close my landscape company and I'm gonna sell toys out of my garage. So I took my garage doors off the house, I put French doors in, I finished the whole room, and I had a store for 27 days, 29 days. And I realized I have messed up big time. I have way too much stuff. You couldn't get through the back room of the house anymore because there's too many totes. Marvel, DC, Monster High, Boglins, Mondo. These are all for Gettysburg. Like this is stuff I was talking about. Like we'll take all this up. That's all for Gettysburg. I mean, like if you like look up, like there's rows of the Masters. I hate putting stuff in storage. Like if it starts to get too crazy and it doesn't look nice, I'll pull it down and we'll take it away. But no, it's that's how we're able to still do the shows and keep the shop open, because then if there's enough product, then they don't feel like, oh, I'm not gonna go out there this weekend because they took all the good stuff. When you get big enough, you don't have to take the good stuff. I had nothing ready to start a retail store. When you have to buy 20,000 peg hooks and 5,000 boxes of staples and the toppers and that's where like I was ignorant. I didn't respect the value of that stuff. So I'm like, now that I had to buy it and do it, I'm like, I'll be at the store and I'll see someone's like peg hook wrong, and I'm like, let me just fix that for 'em, man, because that sucks. I know what that's like. I wasn't in a position to buy, and I couldn't afford an initial rent to get started because commercial space is so expensive. Like, I mean, you're paying X amount of dollars per square foot. So I owned all the tools in the world, and I had the background on fixing stuff. So I made an agreement with the guy, take the building off the market. I'll fix it as is. Give me 1 year. If I can't buy it in a year, I'm out my money that I put into it. And so we put the siding, the roof, we gave it a facelift, we did all that. And then we rocked the store. And the guy was an older gentleman, just downright incredible, man. I remember him coming to my grand opening. That was probably the first time he'd seen the building like with a new face. And like the guy cried, and I was like, you all right, man? He like, it reminds me so much. I bought this building in 1942. I come from Germany. My business was here, it started here, and then to see a young man still doing that same type of dream with making something happen, and then it became a thing, and we ended up buying the building. We ran our store there for about 3.5 years, and now here we are in the mall because again, we needed the space, setting up the shop and all that crazy nonsense. This is your like random, no item has enough of an area to be its own aisle. And that's how you end up with like the Tick, Hercules. Let me put this down. You cannot tell me as a kid, now I'm a boy, when I was little, Xena, she was like, ay. She was the most attractive lady in the world and she could fight. What? Dude, sign me up. Sign me up. Yeah, old Hercules, dude. Who didn't want to be as strong as Hercules, have Xena as your right hand? Dude, it was awesome. So that's how this whole aisle started with like, okay, we'll just put some Scooby-Doo stuff. And then it just went and went and went. And then you end up with like Space Jam, Scooby, The Mask. Like, I'm a 90s kid and I don't remember getting a bunch of Mask toys. I didn't know that was like a thing. But it is. Austin Powers, like, no matter how many movies they've made, I immediately go to when they defrosted him and he's like peed for 2 hours. Like, dude, they made Austin Power toys. It's amazing. And then if you go old school and you got a little bit of heart, can you not love Rose? I mean, the Golden Girls, man. Sophia. That old lady was more funny than most comedians we got today. So, that's the fun part about this aisle. I think if there's any aisle in the whole, like besides like the 80s box work stuff, like the G1, the Masters, the Star Wars, when people come in this aisle, you can really relate. You're like, oh, the Flintstones. Oh my God, that's Dick Tracy. Like, it's insane. The new Avatar movie, like, just the pure graphics and the story, the old Gargoyles on card, you know? Because we went from this as a kid and loved it to the beautiful brand new NECA, which are, you know, more articulate and they do a lot more, but it's awesome, man. And then, man, did you even know they made Alias toys? Like, it's just, you don't know, man. I think you guys walk past, like, there was a Jackie, yeah. I have never seen this in my life. Jackie Chan got his own action figure series. The Jackie Chan Adventures. Sign me up. Who didn't love Jackie Chan? This is the most idiotic Masters line of all time. A wave one will say +5 in the corner. Look, maybe I'm wrong because there's not very many +5s. There it is. Okay. So your +5, when they first came out, you had your like original run of guys and it was for ages 5+. And then the following run, it all turned into the +4s. So again, you'd find yourself with a Mer-man on card +5, then you'd find the Mer-man +4, then you'd find the Mer-man, which is the color variant, which he'll be on this wall. He'll be like green in the middle. And okay, that's a regular, okay, there you go. That's your +5, there's your +4, right there. So you've got the exact same figure, man. All they did was change his colors out. That's it. Speaking of Mer-man, that's so crazy because that's where we started with. But this is not Mer-man. This is Beast-man. But there were so many errors in this line, I think because they pumped them out so much, it says Mer-man. That is not. So I kid you not, it is like all but impossible. This is crazy to find if it actually said Beastman, but just an error. And then if you want to go even harder in the paint, like you're that guy, like you just got money to waste, how about you get another Mer-man, but you add the VHS tape? And again, can you imagine, like in today's society, we cry if my corners are bent or the mock's not 100% perfect. Could you imagine if they're like, hey guys, we also threw in a VHS tape and we taped it to your card back? We would lose our minds today. Like, I can't believe they did that. Yeah, anything you see at a store, it'll start here. They'll process it or at least figure out, okay, separate this tote, the DC, the Marvel, the Star Wars, whatever, and then we take it up to storage. And then as they come down, like they'll bring in G.I. Joe, like so we started with Joe's a lot. And then as we organized all those different items, like every single one of those totes is labeled what percentage complete it is, what headquarters it is, what year, etc. And that way, because as you see on the showroom floor, there's not enough to put 15 headquarters out. One will sell and they're like, okay, the 80% one sold, let's go see if we have another one in that area. And they'll grab it and they'll pull it, they'll put it out. This big boy, if anybody remembers the shape and size of this box, is what we had at Joe Fest. This is the Defiant with the shipper. This sold and it's on a payment plan. So we've already got it packaged and protected so nothing can scratch it. And then we're actually gonna be delivering this at Retro Toy Con to the customer. So again, it saves them a little bit on the shipping and all that. And as well as the cost on that item is so high, it's a little bit more convenient when someone can make a payment on it. The Joe figures, so like it's the exact same figure, but that way they can look at like, okay, this one's 40, this one's 45, this one's 50. The differences on why the price may have increased or decreased. But everything over 40 bucks, we had to start putting over here because so many people were pulling, like cutting this open and taking little weapons. It sucks, but, and it's not kids, it's always adults. It's always adults stealing. But there's some, man, crazy, man. Like we have 2 different Mickey Cocos in here. I've got the sealed dinos. That's what makes it fun, getting the good and the bad for all the different lines. That's the Puke and Sand. Like that's the craziest plush we've ever had in the store. I think it's 700 bucks. Thundercats isn't big. We only do like an end cap for it. I still have the Super 7 going all the way around. The infamous KB Toys where it's like 2 for $99 or 3 for $9.99. I can't tell you how many times, and I know it's happening, they'll bring a whole stack of figures, put them on the counter, and I'll be like, hey guys, you need help? Like, no man, I can't beat these prices. I'm like, just so you know, we're not KB Toys. Like, what do you mean? Okay. That's not 3 for $9.99, man. That's a 150, 140. That happens a lot. Did you know that that's a printed sticker and that that's not handwritten? 3 for 10 was $6.99, right? We put all of our stuff on the barcode. It doesn't have a barcode. I always try to go to the back or the bottom. Just like Funko collectors. Funko, I personally don't collect much Funko. I have a bunch of the horror ones or like ones from TV shows I might like, but I'm not a Funko collector. Those guys care about the box, man. Keep the box nice. I see every shop in the world puts the price right on the front. God, for the life of Jesus, stop that. Like, think about a collector, like you own the store. Would you want your brand new car to get your registration sticker on the door? No, put it where it like won't hurt anything. But this is not handwritten. If you look real close, every single one, they're printed. They were never handwritten. I thought that was like the coolest fact. Now, if you've noticed in like the Origins, which is, you know, newer in the last 5 years, the Masterverse, there's like a running joke, and I will like pat myself on the back for this. There's an accessory pack that comes with vintage figures, and it comes with an additional Beastman armor, and it's yellow. For what, 8 years, I've been putting the yellow accessories on Mossman. Because again, as you saw in the front, we had a bunch of accessories for sale. Sometimes you'll get too many accessories, and then no one's looking to buy those. So it's sometimes nicer to put those with a naked figure than to not just have a naked figure. So I took all my Mossman, and they have all got like this awesome Beastman yellow armor, and he just looks tough. The accessories that I won't sell are like these. This is my gold, bud. I mean, you got your Cliff Climber, Masters Loose. You're never gonna see that. You've got your Horde Trooper weapon. How about this? Is crazy. Laser Light Skeletor's cloth. Like, I'm never selling that. I'll wait until I get another figure. King Randor, beautiful Malaysia Faker, just needs a little leg band. You've just got like the gun for the dino. Ninjor. I mean, these are crazy pieces, man. The tower tools. Oh, it looks like a He-Man sword, but this is actually the toothbrush holder sword. So, just these are the pieces you don't sell, and then you just keep going. That's all masters. Everything you're seeing is all masters in order. And then when you go into like, imagine how many modulocks we could have made, right? Because we have so many, but we're missing the little 2-tab pieces that make the figure complete. So all of these are just extra legs and limbs because you can't complete them. Same thing with multibot. Like, we're always missing that 2-tab, or I'd have 100 multibots. That's crazy, man. This is all out because PowerCon, we were really trying to have as much masters as possible. I don't know what this is. Masters. Ah, here's your even idea. That's your Eternia. This is your top to the display we had at PowerCon. Insane, man. God, that was, love that. It was very fun, man. But it did such a good job with those. Like, that's the top of the Grayskull Tower. And you figure that's just half. That's how big it was. But we're hoping we're gonna take this to a couple of the shows. If I have a 10 by 20, I can do it, because then it fits in a 20-foot span of grid wall. It zip ties. That's how it started. That's it. You would just slap some yellow armor on a man and your Moss Mans would be cool. Oh look, there's another one. And that's what I would do with all my Moss Men. So if you bought them, fast forward 8 years later, what did Mattel just put out that's a Walmart exclusive? Moss Man with the yellow accessories. I'll bet you 100 people have reached out. Did you see the new Moss Man, man? They took your idea. And they did not. I don't know if they did take my idea or it just worked out that it was the same idea, but great minds think alike. And I was like a little schoolgirl when I got that Moss Man at Walmart, just like, oh, there it is. I'll bet you that's the hardest Origins figure to get right now. That came on the shelf. Like, and I think, especially for me, like you'll see like on the counter, there's just tons and tons and tons of Origins figures, and we'll buy them, like especially like a secondary store like us, like Toy Federation, like a lot of the other shops that are trying to keep up with the current demand. When I order it, you'll see it at Target first, you'll see it at Walmart first, and then by the time we get it, we have to have a little bit of a markup on it to make anything. Oh, that's frowned upon. Why isn't this retail? Because we're paying almost retail. And then we had to wait 5 months after Walmart's got it to sell it. So that's like all these. That's all Snake Mountains. They've been out for like 2 months and we just got them. The Point Dread and Talon Fighter. I bet you there might even be here. I was like, yeah, see, look, I've already had to buy them on a secondary market just so I had them, and now we got them. That sucks. Okay, here you go. The brand new 2-pack. I've got $50 on it. I go to my barcode. 46 free shipping, 45 free shipping, 60, 60, 65, 50, 40, right? So if you were here and you could buy it for 50 and you carried home, it's perfect. I mean, it's out of the box, perfect. Or would you rather some guy fold this over, throw it into a box, but you save $6? I'll pay the $6 every time. I can't tell you how many, like when I'm doing like the NECA Turtles, how many Targets I've driven to and I didn't find the 2-pack. Let's just say you drove 18 miles, 9 and 9. 18 miles, you go to 2 different Targets for the next 6 weeks. You're $200 in, you don't even have the toy you wanted. Yeah, I'll pay a markup every time. And it's no shame to the companies like, who is it? Nacelle. You know, they're doing the Biker Mice and they're doing all the other lines that are older and coming back, but it's really a race to what bigger companies can buy what toy lines to put out new ones, because we're in that era right now. We're like, Turtles are cool, this is cool, okay, well dude, let's pump out some Mad Balls. Yeah, they're awesome, and they are awesome, man, and their details are crazy. but you better be ready to pay, right? Like, this is heavy. What's it gonna cost me to mail a 4-pound ball across the country, right? But they're sick. TV guides, I think if you want to talk like off the wall, like what sells in the store, I sell a ridiculous amount of TV guides. And depending on like, now this will all be alias because of the section we're in, but like Star Trek and Star Wars and things like that, any of the bigger, larger TV shows, the cover art would always, just like People Magazine, things like that. The collector's like, man, that's my favorite character. Like I want all the different artwork. So then people are chasing the old TV guides and it just picks up. Buffy and Angel, you guys are gonna see so much of this up in storage. This one, when we bought that sci-fi collection, it had all of this. Everything you see, Star Trek, Babylon, the more sci-fi, the Buffy, Alias, Angel. So the gentleman was very well known in the sci-fi community, like doing the shows and all that. And he was getting ready to start a store and actually ended up passing away. But we had gotten a call from his brother, which was in Washington State, and was like, hey, my brother is in Maryland. He's got 40,000 pieces. And again, it's one of those things where like that number can always be exaggerated. Like I've heard it a million times. I have 1 million items. I have all the... So I asked if we could go out there and they're like, yeah, well, let me send you a spreadsheet. They took every mock. It was the most professional manner to sell a collection in the world. Every mock, the name, whether it was a variant. So they definitely did their homework. The barcode number. I mean, it was nuts. On 40,000 plus items, ornaments, figures, statues. So when we got out there, it's like a, I don't know, 5,000-6,000 square foot house. And in the basement was a pallet and then just rows of boxes all labeled. And you go into the second floor and it was like all the autograph stuff, and you go in the next. It was so bizarre. I ended up getting a 26-foot box truck, an 18-foot trailer, 2 cars, a van, and like 30 people just to get it all out because they were in the process of getting the house ready for the market and all that stuff. But so everything you see Star Trek here, there's about 2 times that in storage because they're just, that's how the whole all sci-fi store started, was because I had too much. And then we ended up, I really felt like I was missing the window where we're known for the toys and collectibles, and then we're also known for the more modern toys. So we ended up pulling all the sci-fi back over here. We took all the Funko Pops, all the more hip, newer toys, and threw them over there. And that's how we could get a better divide. Is old selling or new selling? All of this, all the way around the whole corner is nothing but sci-fi. And I mean, you're getting just boxes and boxes of figures that are already cleaned off and priced and put away. It's super important for anyone in this business. Like, as you can see, we slowly have been doing away with the cardboard. Everything must go in a tote because God forbid there's ever a leak. This keeps everything safe. So dust free, the whole shebang. I remember when the mall opened, I was probably $1,200 to my name, if that. I gambled on everything. I mean, I could have definitely lost my house. All of that could have been a thing. But I wanted you to come into this store. It'd be different than Tawnytown, be different than the garage, but at the same time be different than everyone else's store in America. Like, it mattered to me. And then it just completely unfolded. So in my live, I talked about I'm never gonna own a laser He-Man. I'm never gonna own a laser Skeletor, because at that time, there was no way I was gonna send someone $4,000, $5,000, whatever, for a vintage laser Skeletor. Even if I bought one in a collection, I was not keeping it. It was going right back on the floor to keep turning. And I got this package, and it's just like the Ripple box, right? Like where people are excited to see what toys you might have got in the mail. I get so much in the mail that I'm like, oh, this says to me, okay, guys, I don't remember getting anything, but all right, we'll open it up, and I'm going through stuff, and I'm like, oh my God, it's a laser He-Man. And I'm like losing my mind. Like I'm getting chills right now. Yeah, everyone's looking at me like, dude, you did buy them. And I'm like, I didn't buy them. And at the bottom, man, I've got this letter, and it was just about like my passion for Masters and like the constant giving back to the community and like the different things we had done. He wanted to pay it forward. They were extras for him. And now that's like probably the only thing in my entire life I would never sell. So let's see, which one of them had the most weapons? And then like, I remember like one of the stores had like the exclusive sword color. Like, see, like that's chrome. I don't remember which one. One of them came with gold. What a difference the doors changed versus like, you know, the teeth and the rawr. And then it was like, I remember this being like the front. Yeah, because I remember like in the cartoon or the commercial, it was like,